Hello, welcome back. In this episode, I just want to show you a little bit of evidence to support my claims that this worship of Bigfoot is actually the basis for the Illuminati religion. And the reason the American Indians are huge reservations and tax-free status and special treatment, I mean, nobody's allowed to criticize them or say anything. You know, the media treat them with kid gloves. The reason for that is because they are followers of the Illuminati religion. They are worshipping the Tengri, which is the basis of Judaism, and it's all about basically going into the woods and worshipping another species which is superior to human beings in many ways, a very fearsome creature, a very dangerous creature which has to be placated and basically, like a mafia gang, has to be paid protection money. And this creature also wants to take advantage of human beings because they want to strengthen their control over them by assimilating with them and getting their agents actually within the human population. And that's where you got all the fertility rituals and stuff like that coming from. So first off, we have the Omaha Reservation, and this man here is going to tell you about it.
Man,
Yeah.
you pray,
I pray for them,
special prayer, yeah.
and they come up.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can show you tonight.
That means you communicate with them here
Yeah.
on some way.
Yeah.
Nice.
We established that over the years. We built that relationship.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Since ancient times.
Yeah.
Since ancient times,
Yeah.
you communicate. You consider them as a tribe, yeah? A special.
The colors here.
Yeah.
And all parts.
Heard it there from the horse's mouth, Native American Indian telling you that he worships these creatures and prays to them. They pray to them and they come up. Replay it and listen to it again if you don't believe me. What does he mean? They come up. It means they come up from under the ground. And this man here, Norio Hayakawa, he is a UFO guy who's been on the scene for years, and look at the symbol he uses on his thumbnail. The exact same symbol from the Tengri religion, which is also the Celtic cross. Because the Celtic religion, the Druid religion, is the Tengri religion. And we'll return to that and just show you what I mean by that in a few minutes. But it's also the shamanistic nature worship religion of the American Indians. And this religion goes all the way from Turkey, all the way across the Caucasus region, up through Siberia and Russia, and across the Bering Straits into Canada. And that's where the Native American Indians came down with this religion. They also came across the sea from Spain and Ireland. They came directly from Ireland, some of the tribes. I've managed to trace them. I mean, this is a huge subject. You know, I can't show you everything, but maybe I will eventually. But I just, give you as much as I can, practically speaking, for the time being. I mean, I don't want to get bogged down. But let's just say, if you look at the history of the Indian Wars, most of the Indian tribes were not in the United States before the 17th century. The Ottoman Turks were Donme Jews. Those were the people that were running the Turkish Empire. The same people that are running Saudi Arabia today, and Boris Johnson is one of those Donme Turks as well. The reason Norio Hayakawa, I would suggest, has been assigned the task of gatekeeping Dulce Base and all that lot, spreading disinformation and gatekeeping, is because Dulce Base is an entrance to an underground cavern system where these creatures live. The Tengri religion worships them and protects the entrances to their underground caverns. If you look at the top right hand part of the screen, you see the old Turkic script. This is used for carving notches and symbols onto trees in the Tengri religion, and this is from this Druidic Tengri religion. This is not the native religion of Europeans. All you European revivalists who want to worship the Viking religion and think that the runic inscriptions and everything is your indigenous, back to your old indigenous roots. It's complete nonsense. This is the religion of the Druids, who were Jewish rabbis or Tengri shamans who came actually via Egypt. After they'd wrecked Egypt and had their way with it, they fled because Egypt was ruined. There was no more money left. It was completely run into the ground as it is today. If you look at it, it's a complete dump. And they took the religion with them to Western Europe, and all the gullible people fell for it. Not all of them probably, but a lot of them are still falling for it today in any of its forms. I've told you the underlying formula of the religions, whether it's Judaism, Buddhism, paganism, Druidism, or the Viking religion, the formula, the dialectical formula behind it is identical. Doesn't matter what name you want to give to it, New Ageism or what was the thing Hitler was into? Theosophy. Doesn't matter what you call it. This is all window dressing. It's the dialectical formula behind it. And what I'm showing you today is going to show you that it has the same root. It's the same people behind it. These charlatans from overseas. And the horror of what it really boils down to, which is worshipping your enemy, literally your enemy, another species, a predator species, a competitor species, and paying them protection money. The real mafia. So let's just go through this page on Wikipedia because it contains a lot. It ties everything together. It shows you the relationship between the runic religion of the Vikings, Kazakhstan. This is the religion. Tengri is the religion of Kazakhstan. That is why Kazakhstan is to be the capital of the New World Order, the headquarters. This shows you the Khan, the word Khan. So many high-level Jews are called Khan. Well, this is because it's a title from these Turkic Tengri priests. The worship of mountains, even down to the worship of the pyramids, which are giant artificial mountains, and the pyramid shape, which is so important in Illuminati symbolism. This is where it all comes from, because these creatures, there are two types of Bigfoots, ones that live in forests and ones that live in the mountains, actually literally inside hollowed out mountains. And that's why Mount Hermon in Palestine or Lebanon, wherever it is where the sons of God, that's the Bigfoot, first mated with the daughters of men. They didn't come through a stargate from another dimension or from another planet even. They came from an entrance into their underground mountain caverns inside of Mount Hermon. And today, to this very day, if you want to have a look on Google, you will find that there is a UN military compound on Mount Hermon guarding the entrance to where they came out and first managed to get a hybrid offspring. After hundreds of years of trying, they finally managed to get a hybrid offspring between human beings and their own kind, and that meant that they could then legally work towards getting their agents into the highest levels of government. That's the royal families and the patrician families of the human race. And there's nothing we can do about it because they're legally in there. That's combined with our genetics so that they can rule us. And instead of having sheep and goats, you've now got a goat which is a type of sheep, or a pussycat and a tiger, two different types of creatures completely, but you start breeding between pussycats and tigers, and you've got a super pussycat, which is basically a tiger pussycat hybrid, and there's nothing we can do about it because they're in now. They're in the human race. So look at all these mountains where God is supposed to live. You've got Rila Mountain, also renamed it Masala Mountain, Mountain of Allah, where Allah lives. You've got, if you recall, there was a mountain in the Himalayas where Shiva's supposed to live, and a lot of people go up to that mountain, try to climb to the top, and they get mysteriously disappeared or killed. That's because Shiva, who will be reincarnated as one of these beings, will actually literally be living in that mountain. Word here, Kagan, you see, very popular Jewish name. Alright, anyway, on this page here, if you read it, you can see the basic formula behind all the world religions, especially Christianity. Now this word here, very interesting word, very important, the Bilge Kagan, or Kagan. This is a type of Turkish Jews that came over to ancient Ireland and Western Europe and settled there just before the time of Christ. They're called the Farbolg in Ireland. You know, they say big mystery who the Farbolg were, where they came from. I'll tell you who they were, where they came from. They were Donme Jews from Turkey, and they brought the Tengri shamanistic religion, which we know as Druidism, with them. If you read the writings of Julius Caesar and the Gallic Wars, he says that the Belgi were a Celtic tribe who occupied that region of northern France or the bottom part of the Netherlands, the Belgi. These were the leaders, obviously not the majority population, just the most important individuals. And this is why today the Jews run the EU from Belgium. They have their headquarters in Belgium because that's the Belgi Khaganate, their leadership running Europe, the Soviet European Union. In this video on YouTube here, a Bigfoot researcher is going to explain, a Bigfoot researcher explains some of the symbols that Bigfoots leave in the woods with their sticks and their rocks. And he says this symbol is very important to them, and it is a triangle with a rock in the middle of it. And he comes up with some explanation, sort of New Age explanation, touchy-feely explanation. And it seems to me that this man has been seduced by their New Age style explanations for what they do, and he's very much in love with the Bigfoot, and he's very much impressed by them, and basically he's very submissive and respectful towards them. And of course they require that because as a species they are extremely aggressive and domineering. They're like any other primate species. If you look at gorillas and chimpanzees, they're very violent and dominating. They have one male who totally dominates the others and requires total submission from the others. And this is what we understand from Bigfoot, is that if you step into the woods, if you go into their territory, you must submit and grovel to them. That's the only thing they understand. The only thing they want from you is total submission. And if you read about Yahweh or Yahweh, who is a Bigfoot in the Bible, that's Shiva, Yahweh says that he is a jealous God and he wants you to sacrifice to him. He wants total submission from you. He says, I am that I am in the Bible. I am is in Latin ego. And that's what these creatures are all about. And that is why we are always told by all the religions that we must destroy our ego. We must have no ego. We must have no sense of self. Because the patriarch, the leader of the troop in any primate species, he's the only one who is able to assert himself and have a sense of self. Everyone else must submit to him. So this is the classic primate social model.
Divine union pointing toward the heavens.
Yeah, you got the silly make-believe New Age nonsense meaning for it. So that's the Illuminati symbol of the triangle with the eye in it. I'm not going to try and explain what it means. I'm just going to say that this is another Illuminati symbol that the Bigfoot is using. And all the symbols they use are used by the Illuminati. Some of you may have caught this video that came out of Matthew Johnson's YouTube channel, Team Squatching USA. And I'll just read the title for you here. Trump wins. He's talking about the recent general election in America. The Bigfoot forest people, that's the Sasquatch, which he calls the Shanu, can see into the future. And he says that the Bigfoot forest people know with 100% confidence that President Trump will win the election. They say there's going to be a recount and Biden will be out and Trump will be in. Well, that's quite a bold claim, isn't it? When you make predictions about the future, it's going to come out eventually that you were wrong and you were talking out of your ass, or you were right. So you're kind of making a prediction about the future. You're putting your neck on the line, your reputation on the line. Wouldn't it be a coup for Johnson if this prediction for the future, which I said, this is what they do. They go into the woods. They give them. I showed you that out of Charles Vallancey's book. They go into the woods. They do all the ritual. They meet the Bigfoot. Bigfoot tells them the future. That was in my last video, a couple of videos ago. So exactly as I said, this guy is getting predictions about the future from Bigfoot. And Bigfoot sticking his neck out here and saying Trump will be in. And in this video by Johnson, he says that the Bigfoots have their spies in every government department. Every government office, they have Bigfoot spies. And I just showed you a few minutes ago, the American Indians worship these Bigfoots and they interbreed with them to create a human Sasquatch hybrid. And the reason for that is because they want them within society and embedded within society, so they can influence them from within the highest offices, the most influential parts of society. So that's why Bigfoot, according to Johnson, not my words, Dr. Matthew Johnson says Bigfoot has its spies in our governments. That would explain why the government is always making all these huge national parks where people aren't allowed to go and build houses and stuff without permission. Why most of Canada and North America, huge parts of Russia and Europe are off limits. You can't touch it. Why? Because they've got their people working in governments to make this land exclusively off limits to humans, and that means that the Bigfoot people can have the run of it and be protected. And they've got agents like Todd Standing in Canada trying to get them protected status. There's no evidence that these things even exist, let alone that they're going extinct. So why should they have protected status? Well, he wants them on the endangered list. Of course he does. They're always going to be trying to get themselves special treatment and protection. Okay, so you don't believe me that they have a connection with the government. Okay, I'm going to show you something that's going to change your mind. This is a picture of Brian Sullivan, Duke of World Bigfoot Radio on YouTube. Very popular channel and a very good channel. He puts on great shows. He's got a lot of information. He knows a lot about Bigfoot. And he's at a conference or some kind of meeting with this guy. Presumably this is Gary Wayne in the picture, but it doesn't matter who he is, because what he's doing is he's giving a Freemason handshake for everyone to see. So he's gripping, it's like when you shake hands with a woman or something, you don't do a full grip, and then the thumb touches one of the knuckles, and that shows which rank of Freemason you are. So they're showing for all the other Squatchers, because I've said this is Druids, this is Freemasons, right? Brian Sullivan is a cool guy, but he wouldn't be doing this off his own bat if he wasn't part of something bigger. So, California, like the 7th richest state in the world, right? Where you get Hollywood, druidic wood that they made the wands out of, the holly grove, the Hollywood. They running the world from Hollywood. The richest man in the world, according to Jordan Maxwell back in the 60s, was living in Lookout Mountain in Hollywood, in a hollowed out mountain, which is today occupied by, what's his name, Jared Leto, is it? And it was used by the CIA for all their mind control stuff back in the day. Yeah, 100%. California is the most important state, and it just so happens that California is where the Patterson-Gimlin footage, the most famous Bigfoot footage, the only really convincing Bigfoot footage ever filmed, the most enduring Bigfoot footage, was filmed in California. California, it says here, ranks second in Bigfoot sightings. So California with its big redwood trees, you know where the Wookiees and the Ewoks live? The redwood trees, that's California. That's the second hottest hotspot for Bigfoot sightings in the world. Okay, so let's find out where's the hottest hotspot in California for Bigfoot. The map on the right shows you the redness shows you the number of Bigfoot sightings, and the map on the left shows you that Bohemian Grove, where the elite of the Illuminati, where the presidents are picked, selected, where all the bigwigs gather once a year in the redwoods in a giant druidic grove. Bohemian Grove is next to the hottest hotspot for Bigfoot sightings in California. What are the odds that Bohemian Grove would be placed in a grove just down the road from Bluff Creek, where the Patterson-Gimlin footage was filmed, where Bigfoot lives? So in Bigfoot's backyard, the elite meet up every year to discuss how they're going to run the world. And because that part of California is so jam-packed with Bigfoots, it's such a hot spot, they have at Willow Creek, which is the nearest town to Bohemian Grove, just coincidentally, once a year they have a Bigfoot convention. In fact, this town, Willow Creek, is all about Bigfoot. There's only two things they do there. One is Bigfoot, and the other thing is grow weed. Bigfoot capital of the world, right next door to Bohemian Grove. Willow Creek, California, close to Bluff Creek, where the Patterson-Gimlin footage was filmed. Northern California. Right, and this girl, completely out of her mind on weed, probably, with a whole tray full of munchies. She says there's only two things they do there. They go squatching and they grow weed. They got a Bigfoot motel, Bigfoot steakhouse. Weed was legalized. Willow Creek has taken a new character. Of course it was legalized. The Illuminati are behind the Free the Weed movement. They want us all stoned because the Shivites who worship Shiva. Shiva is basically a deified version of Bigfoot. That's why he has dreadlocks and he lives this filthy, squalid life in the woods, eating out of a human skull and all that. They're Shivites. The Bigfoots worship Shiva. He's their god, their patron. And he smokes weed. So, of course, they're going to want the human race doped up on weed. They're going to legalize it. Weed and Bigfoot goes together. Look at Bobo Fay, stoned all the time, completely out of his gourd on weed. Okay, so they go to Bohemian Grove, and they hang out in the woods, and I'm saying it's a religious festival, druidic. Now, it just so happens that Bohemian Grove, when they go out to the woods, coincides perfectly with Sukkot, which is a Jewish festival, Hebrew festival, same time period. So a week long, and it's in the 7th month, of course, of the Hebrew calendar. And they have to build temporary wooden structures called booths, which in Gaelic is bothy, meaning a shepherd's hut or a little primitive hut. So it says booths. And a booth is covered in natural material. It's made out of boughs, right? So let's have a look at what the Bible says about it. In the book of Leviticus, ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, bothies. This is a type of tabernacle, which is a temporary structure made out of tree branches. The children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. They should fetch olive branches, pine branches and myrtle branches, palm branches and branches of thick trees to make booths, right? A type of tabernacle. It's weird, I had all this on my computer, and this particular section from the video, I spent a whole evening doing this because I couldn't find it, I had to re-find it, and it's all gone off my computer, so I'm doing it now again, quickly. So the people went forth, made themselves these little bothies, and this is what we find in Cannock Chase. These are the Bigfoot teepee structures. That's why the Feast of Sukkot coincides with the Bohemian Grove gathering in the Redwoods in California. Sukkah, a thicket, a bothy, a booth, the English word. All right. Here we go. I mean, what more do you want? I've also seen it referred to as a pavilion, which is what I just showed you in my last video from Cannock Chase, where they were, where I saw that deer lawn, and there was a sort of pavilion that had been made in this style. All right, that's all we've got time for today. We're already pushing 25-30 minutes, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.